Dude, we got sock puppets instead of Brian, but Brian's trying to connect, so he will eventually be here. And that's how I like my intro to be.
Forever sock bucket.
Sock puppets for life. So, we're going to talk about Tau, we're going to talk about orcs, and we might even talk about golden bananas.
Are we though?
Hey, don't disparage the bananas. Don't disparage the bananas, my friend.
Bananas are going to be very sensitive and still manage to get like a 60% win rate.
I do like the fact that I had a bunch of scenes set up that looked really cool, and instead I went, I just enjoy being by the fire more than I like anything else. Is it the best technical setup? No, but
Is it the laziest technical setup? Yeah.
yeah,
You didn't even like stretch the sock puppets to fit the box.
I don't know how. Damn it! It just makes him look weird. Okay.
I mean, you could have like cropped it and had Brian just be like the green one or the red one, not both.
That seems good though. I'm down with that. I'm ready though. So if you were gonna say who's gonna make the biggest splash, Cannonball! Attention, San Diego! Breaking news. Who do you say is gonna come in the best?
I think if we're talking about game changing, probably orcs.
Tell me why. Because I think it's the other way around.
You think it's the other way around? I think it's the quantity of bodies that people just haven't been seeing. And I know that you're very excited about the Crute detachment, but
They do no damage.
they do no damage. Orcs actually do damage.
Yeah, no, it's a different style of play. Because the reason I'm excited about the Crute detachment is it's because I think you can jam somebody in their board, and if you can never get to the Sky Rays and the Riptides and maybe a unit of suits just powering missiles down the side, if you can't deal with those guys for 3+ turns, that's just crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's the best, but it's just. And I've been looking at the orcs a lot, and I've been looking at things that I can't talk about. I've been looking at things that I can talk about, and I think that you're going to see Green Tide just looks like it's going to be good out of the gate, with very little learning curve. You know what I mean? You just slam down a bunch of bros. You slam some in battle wagons. You push up. They get out. They do legit damage. Their strats already look good. Their enhancements look good. You know what I mean? And it looks like you'll be having individual stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the stuff. The speed freaks, the snake bites, the the stuff and or the things. Now I got a Brian, and now I have to squish this up. You know what? I might keep the sock puppets there though. And I've really enjoyed the sock puppets. Screw you guys. You guys get as much press as the sock puppets do now. So it's you and sock puppets. So screw that. We're just staying. Stock puppets get to stay.
So we're talking about Tau. And right now, I feel like Kion's pretty solid. And a lot of the Mon-Cal lists are looking very similar to Kion, but there's some changes, obviously. It's a more aggressive play style. But I don't think it's going to shake it up. I think Orcs are going to shake it up because each Orc list is substantially different.
I'll give you that. But there's
still winners and losers.
You got to figure Retaliation Cadre is a different style of play. It's more the being aggressive. I actually think that Retaliation Cadre feels more aggressive than Mon-Cal, because I feel Mon-Cal can do early game damage, but mostly it's strats and enhancements, and you can extend that to turn 4 anyways. You know what I mean, with stuff. So why is the sock puppet so crusty? Lyle coming in with a $2 super chat.
He's still milk all over it, apparently.
But the big thing is that I think that Mon-Cal and Kion will look very similar. They're doing the same things. Yes, they get their bonuses at different size, but they're doing I think the list will look very similar. You know, one of the things that really I think is crazy in Kion, and I've been doing a lot of TTS with it, just screwing around, seeing where I put them. But like, dude, a unit of broadsides with double missile drone, with rerolls, with double exploding 6s, man, that shit's crazy.
It might be viable now that crisis suits have kind of gone away as the
I'm just saying
multiple shot.
I'm not saying it's the end all deal, but you're looking for different things on that, because Mon-Cal might do just straight high yield missiles, while the Kion might do it a different way because they'll do 2 missile drones and then do the heavy rear rifles on that. So it's a big deal to figure out that, because again, shooting full rerolls, I'm going to be looking for those 6s. Double exploding 6s with heavy rear rifles has never been bad. So you're looking for lethals in Maka, you're looking for just explosions and devastation in Kion, and I think both of them are legit.
They just have a movement problem, and Monka solves the movement problem by being able to scout and advance and shoot. Even if they don't fix it, like you could just take 5 missile drones and 1 gun drone. So now they have assault weapons.
Sure, you know what I mean. It does the same thing on that. And the thing is that we have no idea what they're going to fix on that. So I can't really say. It's the same thing that I think that, you know what? Don't fail me, GW. I think that Farsight's going to be able to work. His ability is going to work on anything, not just battle tactics.
It's not.
And then you can double fire and fade. Pew, 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 pew.
So I will say this. Both the Orc detachment the Orc Codex and the Tau Codex, everything that's been released so far, they both look very thematic.
Legit. Green Tide.
Custodes, not so much.
Plus the dread mobs, dude. Come on. Like, if there can't be anything more orky than try that button. You know what I mean? Like it could work out for you. Maybe.
I like the strat where it's just like, hey, you want more hazardous damage?
Oh, dude.
Here's some more hazardous damage.
Double hazardous.
I'm going to push that button twice.
Yeah, just spam it.
So what do you think, Brian? What's going to impact more of the meta, Orcs or Tau?
I honestly think it's going to be Orcs. I think they were on the cusp of being very good before. I think that some of the points and nerf hits they got were just a little bit too much to push them to the top. But I think the Orc book is going to show 3 different builds from what I can see, from what's been out there on the internet that I'm not going to specifically talk about. But what I've seen so far, and especially with what GW revealed directly themselves, boys might be back on the table. It's a good thing.
I mean, the other thing that we can talk about, I mean, you still can't talk about the leaks, but if you go down to the bottom of the thing, coldest speed, if they advance, getting 4 up invulns, and yeah. I really want to see all the shit that goes with bully boys. I bring 20 knobs right now. You know what I mean? If I can bring an all knob war boss, big Beaton's army, I mean, that sounds pretty awesome too. Like, I can see myself literally playing a different detachment every time I go to a tournament.
I know on Warhammer Plus, I think it was today that it came out, was the Custode versus Orcs.
Oh, the battle report.
Battle.
It was last night, I think.
I should take a look at that. I haven't seen it. I just heard people tell me about it. So
yep.
I want to really go out, because if I can do multi-wogs and everything else. Oh, what's up, Anna? The Custodes talents, I mean, it is thematic. It's just I'll sidetrack real quick on this. I think Custodes are one of many things that's hard to get right as a fluff bunny. I'm an enigma wrapped in a paradox because I'm a power gamer fluff master. But Custodes fluff, you can't put them on the board. Like, one Custode should be like 1,000 points. Because in the stories, like, one Custode literally just cleaves like Sauron style through Marines. You know what I mean? So you just don't. Where do you put them? It's the same thing with other big models where, a Primarch just jokes off, all these other people. In the game, you're like, well, how much does he cost and how tough is he? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So it's difficult for those armies, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to, they're not supposed to be there in mass. So, but if
the super elite, super big, super tough armies are always going to be tough to balance, they're always going to be walking a tightrope of, it's really good, it's terrible. I think it always feels like it's going to be one extreme or the other.
I'm going to go to Meta Money on the Wall. Hypothetically, what would you think about a detachment that only buffed character models? It depends on how many people they give the character tag to. Because technically, like, every knob could be a character, you know what I mean? Because they're all in the stages of growing up to be bigger and better orcs, which is why orcs are the best.
I mean, that would be really cool for Space Wolves.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
Space Wolves are supposed
Yep.
to be led by multiple characters. So, like in the old days, you had to take extra HQs to play your Space Wolf army because Space Wolves are literally bands of guys that are led by big personalities. So, I would love to see the Orcs like that because they are like that. The Orcs are, they literally get larger and bigger and stronger the more crumping they do. You know, the better they get. So, I would love to see that. It would be weird though. I really think we need a new tournament packet, though. You know what I mean? Because like, there's a lot of secondaries that get real.
I thought there was supposed to be one.
Yeah,
I'm really confused. There hasn't been one yet.
Well, they said it was going to be every 6 months. They said that back in.
No, that's not what they said.
No, they did.
Said.
Actually, sorry, that's what they said in 9th. Remember,
right?
9th edition said every 6.
At the beginning of 10th, if you go back and look through all the Warhammer community articles, they said once a year there would be a tournament pack.
Yeah, sorry. I remember the 9th edition because I was so excited about it because you know, even if that tournament pack's a flop, you know that one's coming up not that long. You know what I mean? So the once a year thing's kind of a big deal.
Did we lose you, Brad?
Kind of. I love living on the back here.
Have you ever thought of living somewhere where your internet doesn't suck?
I literally have the fastest internet you could possibly get out here. Fucking motherfucking fuck. That's all I have to say about that.
Fast internet doesn't mean shit if it's unreliable.
Yeah, it just connects like every other fucking minute. Fucking yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? What was I thinking? I have it. Ah, son of a bitch. I had stuff to say, and you know, well, I may or may not.
We were talking about the thematics of Tau, Orcs versus Custodes.
Yes, the Orc right now, I think you can make. I'm excited to again for Speed Freaks. You can make super thematic. They've been around forever, and it's awesome. And I really want my snake bites to be out there, and that's a squig type army, you know, with Maz and everybody else rocking it. So I'm excited to see all these things be detachments and rock out, to be honest with you.
So how do you feel about the army being less shooty than it was before?
It already wasn't very shooty. I mean, if you want a shooty army, just play the dread mechs. Because
no, what I'm saying is like your orc lists for the past year, I guess, were heavily dependent on flash kits, and they're not.
I mean, it's literally a unit. So I mean,
yeah, but that unit makes a big difference. Like
true story.
Every single orc recommendation you made was
well, it clears a lot of shit out. I mean, it's hard not to take it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So I don't know on that. Look, man, I'll just throw a lot of spears for my squigs. Pow pow. Double fisting those spears. It's almost as good as quad fisting, but not as well.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see Dread Mob on the table again. It's been a number of years since we've seen that out there. And I think a lot of the players who go for a more enjoyable time to GTs are going to have some fun pushing that around the table and having more success than they have in the past.
Yeah. You know, Rob, I'm going to go to the wall real quick. Because Riley goes, I do wish there was a stealth cadre for Tau. Feels like a portion of the lore is missing from the new decks. I think you can kind of make that, though. You can almost make your own. If you go heavy ghost kill, heavy stealth with Pathfinders and Strider, that's a lot of your army. And that does feel very... Because via the lore and the stories and everything, Tau always fight with combined arms. I always hated all of the armies that were just one of anything. All tanks, all suits, all whatever. Because when you read the stories, they fight literally... There's strike teams and devilfish and suits and big guys. You know what I mean? They always use a variety of things. Now, certain seps have more specific fighting styles, but they all still use that whole combined forces. So I like that a lot. I would like to see more of that. I think this Tau is the closest to the lore than Tau's ever been.
At least for a couple editions.
I feel bad because my reading of this Tau book, because I'm judging something where they're using the indexes still, that I'm like trying not to get too involved in the talk on this one, but yeah, it looks really fun.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like I think it's been for forever, to be honest with you, because in all of them except for I can't remember the one step that like literally is like Iron Warriors because it just sits in siege breaks basically, but like
Belcourt? No, not Belcourt. It starts with a B. I forget what it's called.
Borkin.
Borkin.
Yeah. But besides everybody else, they still play like a very like moving army. You have people that are forward deploying, you have people that are back, you have all these interactive things. And Tau for a long time, dude, was sit in a ball of drones and kill everything. And that is not how Tau were written. It's not how they play now. And I think this is the best this is the most closest to they've been. Oh, Lyle coming in with a $5 super chat. How much do I have to pay Brad to win a GT with a Storm Surge or two? I might try it when I do the crew detachment, because nothing would make me happier than putting some big dudes out in a mass amount of Groot. Oh, fuck the G first company. There's no chance. I have the Tiger this tournament before I'll play with first company. Ooh, you like this, Brian. Today we did a fix my list, and a couple of the guys put in first company lists because I was joking about what the worst faction was, and they put them up there, and trying to make them be first company. And
you never actually did build a list.
Oh my god, they're just so bad. But they have their strats are terrible, and
so
their
after
bonus
that
is
video,
terrible.
somebody commented on the YouTube page saying that there's apparently a enhancement where if somebody fails a battle shock test, you pull models, and if it's like Gaz by himself, you just pull Gaz. So you could pull a Satan, you could pull a Gaz, you could pull like some monstrous creature.
And is there anything in the Marine book that like modifies leadership for battle shock and causes battle shock?
Reavers modify it,
Batman's,
and then whirlwinds trigger it.
So
you're basing your army on
actually built into the list.
Reavers and whirlwinds are the basis of your army. Whew.
Doesn't quite sound like first company.
That is also not good. Ooh. The Grot tanks do look really, really good with the Orc mech detachment.
Yeah.
I mean, the Death Treads look legit in that too, man. 2-up saves with all that other shit going on. I mean, you can actually build them shooty. I mean, they get the 4 claws and stuff. So also the speed. I mean, come on, man. You remember how nasty Jink was back in the day? Hal Brandon for sure does, with Ravenwing all over the place. Moving up and advancing with your speed walk turn 1 and just having 4-up invulns across the board on T more than 5, you know what I mean, is going to be pretty legit.
Now, do we know if it's army-wide 4-up invuln saves for advancing, or is it a stratagem? Because for Dark Angels, I believe it's a stratagem for 1 unit.
They just hold, please. I have to go to the bottom of the page in one sentence. Cold Speed can give their trucks and buggies a 4+ invuln save by just going extra fast. So I don't know.
That sounds like a stratagem, Brad.
It's a 1 CP strat.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, still, especially if you can get squadrons again, that seems legit. You know what I mean? Also, I'm just pushing I'm pushing the button, and I'm going bigger shells for bigger gets, baby. Pew, pew, pew,
Every
pew.
time, all the time.
And my big thing is, for the orcs, I want to run the Hunt is On detachment.
Oh, come on! Like, I'm not doing that. Like I
awesome.
Don't want all again. Like I've been saying forever now. I just want to run my squig detachment. Give me rules for it. I love that. Oh, that DA FAQ was huge. Lee disappointing.
There's 2 lines on it.
I mean, the Tau Codex and the Orc Codex seem by far way more interesting than everything else that's been released.
So
yeah, I mean, from what we've seen GW put out for the Custodes Codex, it doesn't seem as strong as we would hope it would be. It seems like it's lacking a little bit. It seems like AdMech, where it's like, oh, there's some neat ideas in here, but
there's still tough dudes with a 2-up save and a 4-up invul now. You know what I mean? So like,
but that's it. Now it all comes down to their point.
I know it's.
Right.
I'm saying if they're pointed really low, that army's going to be a menace. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be bitching about it. Then you're like, Custodian Guard are 30 points. You're just like, douche, there's 1,000 of them. Go suck it, Trebek. You know, those guys are going to be legit. So Victor, I'm on top of that. I'm torn between, yes, I really think that I'm going to be running a different detachment of orcs every tournament I go to. Because I can see myself doing the big guys, the bully boys. I can see myself, I'm definitely running Green Tide once. And then I'm definitely going to run the squeak formation. And that doesn't even include...
You're going to run Green Tide.
Oh, sure.
You're going to move 120 models around the board?
It's going to be so many more. I'm going to literally run it.
So
I'm going to crush with it. I'm going to say, by far, it's the best attachment. And then I'm never going to run it again.
So I'm very confused because last week Brad's like, man, I'm going to play Tau. I'm going to Tau up all summer. And now he's just like, yeah, fuck Tau.
I mean,
let's bring back the orcs.
He has attention deficit disorder beyond all.
He does.
Yeah.
This is all until Eldar comes out, and then he jumps on the Eldar bandwagon.
And then I'll be backflipping in there again. I mean, I feel like I've told you that I have zero loyalty to my factions, so I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I have zero belief. That's why I have zero belief that you're actually going to play each orc detachment.
I think I'll do.
He will play each orc detachment in play testing and, you know, on TTS with everybody. And then he'll go to one tournament and then, you know, the chaos book will come out and he'll be like, oh, distracted.
Yeah. I do want to put, I mean, making Tau armies has been like really exciting because I don't think that there's one secret sauce army. I think that you can bring like Breacher Fish Rush is a real thing in Mont Ka. Suits are a real thing combined up in Retaliation Cadre. Mont Ka and Kayan feel super legit, and then the crew detachment. So like, I see if you told me that Tau won 4 GTs and one was from each detachment, I would not be even remotely surprised. I think that there's a ton of stuff in there, and I think they did a good job of making each detachment feel strong, but not that you had to play any one unless that was your style of play. I have been saying orcs. JR is 100% correct.
You have been looking forward to the orc book for quite a while.
It
is funny that the orc book and Custode book will be legal before the Tau book is.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Which is also what I told you.
God damn it. Brandon's has been betting me this whole time that was going to happen. And I kept saying no.
I literally said this exact situation was going to happen. And Brad's like, nah, it's not going to happen. Why would they do that?
Because
it's not going to happen. All I'm saying is Anna was going to go to Dom's in Pittsburgh, and they were letting new Tau in, so technically I'm correct.
No, that means that Dom is a
what?
Glutton for punishment.
Oh, I'm just saying. I'm just telling you, Dom's only rule was you had to have your physical Tau Codex, which is, by the way, the limited edition Codex and that box with your cards all being foil is pretty boss mode. Like, I'm pretty bummed I don't have one right now. That thing was... We're looking at Tom's. Was like, this is sick, dude. This is pretty.
They're still available. I'm sure they're still available.
I guarantee it. If you go to the art store
I was just about to say
today, you can buy one.
But I have like $11, so I'm gonna negotiate. So,
Brad, have you ever thought about just like buying the box and then giving me all the Kroot models?
Yeah.
Oh man, sounds like
$500. Bet Brad $200 works to be legal first. Not true again. Dom's tournament means that my loophole, a tournament is letting Tau in before the orcs. Thank you very much. And I bet you there's more. Nation and worldwide dominance. Orcs Custers are before Tau on the roadmap. That's true story. My wife sent me to the store for lavender gin. I'm finding all sorts of other flavors, but not lavender. Given that you're the resident alcohol enthusiast, where should I look? To be fair, go up to the counter, look for the most grizzled old dude, and he will tell you exactly where everything is.
I feel like Brian is way better suited to answer this question than Brad.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
Jen,
So
like wildly for
for
Jen.
lavender gin, you have to go to a better version of a liquor store. You can't go to a mom and pop typically on the corner. You need to go to one of the big stores because it's a little bit more expensive, and you're just gonna have to go to a big store. You're not gonna be able to buy it at your corner liquor store.
Like a Total Wine and Plus, or
I think you can get it here.
I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know
I
where
think
One Plus A is
Ohio's
located.
such alcoholics that you can get anything you want at any of our liquor stores. We have everything. So that's all of the goodness. I am it granted, this is what I do every day all day is 40K stuff when I'm not trying to die. But I'm very excited to solve the meta problem that will be soon, because you got to figure we're talking multiple detachments from each book. So if you're talking like we can actually do 2 or 3 different armies per book, that is so much new shit coming to you in the meta, you know what I mean? And
So you're gonna get 6 new armies from Orcs and Tau, right, in the meta that seem viable. You're gonna get probably not a whole lot of change from Custodes.
Until we see the rest of the shield host, to be honest with you, that could be
until we see the rest of the book. I got to go with so far what we've seen. I don't see anything that's like jumping off the pages going crazy. But even in that, you're talking about 6 new builds in the meta you have to be prepared for. It definitely shakes it up. And the fact that now you have to be ready for mid-table toughness horde is kind of going to be fun.
I just think it's crazy how wildly different you're going to have to make your armies. We were just talking about this Monday a little bit, but like I was trying to think about the new designs, and I'm like, what handles horde plus mass armor 10 and 12, or sorry, toughness 10 and 12, and also handles elite, like, 2 up, 4 up type of Custodes type armies. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have to have volume plus strength plus good AP, and
so you mean the Psychonic Ion Blasters that no longer exist?
Yeah, exactly. Those would be those would be perfect for this meta.
There was an argument going amongst some players that were just sitting around talking. I was not involved in the conversation. I was just kind of listening, arguing that heavy bolters might be making a comeback because of this.
No,
they'd have to be strength. They'd have to be strength 6.
Yeah,
plus. Anything. I think the auto cannon's probably safer on that because it does have 2 shots apiece. So if you could have multiples of them on things, if you had to ignore cover, that's why I actually don't think that the whatever the suits are with the plasma, I can't remember their name. What's
Fire Knife?
Fire Knife? The Fire Knife suits aren't terrible because if you ignore cover and just have a volume of shots that are 2 damage, that still is very good against horde, and it's long distance. So
the missile pods are 30-inch range. The plasma's only 18.
No, you have to do a missile.
The plasma's dead.
For me, the missiles are 30 inches, and if you can fire and fade them, you know what I mean, you could stay completely out of sight. There's just uses for a lot of things. So I think you're going to see, going into your question on that, Brian, I think you're going to see a lot of weapons, kind of like we had, I think it was the end of 9th when it was the reign of the autocannon-esque guns, because you had to have answer to horde and you wanted multi-damage, but you also had to have enough strength to hit the higher toughnesses. So I think you're going to see a lot of armies going to whatever their strength 6 to 8 weapon is, as long as they just get multiple shots. So whatever basically has the biggest rate of fire is kind of where you have to go, because you don't want to be in a game and just get swamped by something. And you also don't want to be in a game where Chaos Knights just go, oh, cool, you don't have enough damage, I'm just going to run up on you. You've got all bolters kind of thing. So, and that's also where the armies that have the access to lethal hits, that's one of the biggest reasons why I keep going back and forth when I'm looking at the Tau between Kion and Matka, is because lethal hits is a great keyword, and it's a huge equalizer on that, especially when you have access to rerolls to hit. You can put so much damage on things that you normally would do absolutely fuck all to, you know what I mean? So it's a big deal.
Yeah, I think lethal hits is one of the abilities / keyword thing that's overlooked sometimes by people on how good it actually is.
Yeah, it's just strong. I'm super pumped for Orcs. I'm super pumped for both. I mean, man, I think Tau right now might be in the best spot it's been. Not power, because 8th edition, bullshit. What's his face? Savior Protocols was the most powerful Tau, I think. But for an army to have the multiple armies that are all, I say, GT win worthy, this is a strong Codex, looks like.
So I'm going to raise a counterpoint to all your points about how difficult it is to build an army that deals with hordes, deals with mechanized, deals with mass infantry. Do you think we're just going to see a shift to this army puts down 97 points? How do you stop it? Like Sisters of Battle, like Eldar?
Yeah, I mean, like the demon army that we were screwing around with does the same. You're going to see games. It'll depend on if we get a new mission pack, though. Because right now you can play very uninteractive and slam down a 90-something without ever doing anything with your opponent.
So is this where the WTC scoring would make right now a more interesting time period in the game?
Oh, 100%. Because right now in singles play, I just don't care what you score. In WTC, if I have differential, for sure it'd be different. Because if I play you guys back to back and I just put up a 98 and you guys put up 97s, I don't give a shit in singles. I can win by 1, I can win by 1,000,000. It makes no difference to me. In a differential world, it makes a huge difference to me. And those armies might not be on the chopping block for where you're talking about your 5-mans and then versus your 8-mans and stuff. Because in the team, you need armies that can score and not get destroyed, but then you also need armies that can put up differential. And if this is an army that can't put up differential, it becomes kind of a different role. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it'd be huge in singles if you had to do that.
I wish events in the United States would adopt differential. It is insane that, like, Brad, you just got second place at a tournament this past weekend. You went undefeated. You had high differential. Why did you lose? Strength of schedule. That's something that's completely out of your control. You can't control how your pairings go. You can't control if your person drops out or has a medical emergency or is too drunk to play.
Still, like, my favorite is that turn. I told you, what was it, Maryland? TJ played, and his strength of schedule was like 0 because he had a guy drop because of medical, 2 people drop because of salty, and another guy that only played on day 1. So, so he left. So he just had 4 guys drop out of his first 4 at his first 4 of out his 5 opponents. All weren't playing in the rest of the tournament, so he had like the worst strength of schedule. They need to do something like that. I mean,
it needs to be differential. That makes
differential
sense.
would be way better. I'm gonna go to Meta Mondays on the top, which is gonna be tough, obviously, because we haven't even seen these armies on the board. I did not go undefeated. Also, I had a 1-point loss.
Terrible.
Brad did not go undefeated.
Whoa.
I'll tell you the whole story on that, where I literally snatched. It looked like I was going to come from behind in a game that was totally getting away from me. And then this is a real story. Lyle's watching me, and I measure it out, and I go, okay, as long as I do this, I still win. I pulled this game out of the fire. There's no way he can charge me. And I measured it out. I put dice down to show exactly where I could put my stuff. And then I put a vehicle in front of all of that and got charged. So I'm not sure if I shouldn't have done so much crystal math. I don't really know what happened there. Lyle, were you like just, I don't even know what you were doing. Please tell me. But where I was going to make a point before he put in the super chat. I swear to God.
Strength of schedule.
No, it was
how many?
Go ahead.
Well, okay. Let's look at Michigan GT. You had 500 points. I'm pretty sure, like 497.
Oh Jesus!
You got second.
2023. I got second 4 times undefeated because it didn't matter what the tiebreaker was. I did not get it. it was pretty funny on that.
I mean, it's a lot of discussion has been made for, does WTC encourage you stepping on people's throats? Right. That was one of the topics of conversation.
True.
Does it force you to kind of crush people?
I get it, but I can't do anything about it. everybody wants agency though. That's the whole thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Things you can't control are a big deal. KR with it. I was going to talk about the meta stuff. God damn it. You guys are supposed to rein me in. You're just letting me run wild.
Yeah, I am not in the rain in Brad mode tonight.
I'm not physically there. It's impossible.
You guys are just like, just let him go.
Yeah.
He'll tire himself out. Just let him run around the room a little more.
I have to save my energy for this weekend dealing with your shenanigans.
Okay. Right now, top 4 factions, 4 weekends after both codices and the data slate. Whew, that is speculative. You know why? Because I've been wrong, and I'll be wrong again. So
I'm gonna jump out on this one. I'm gonna go with Tau, number 1 off the get go. Orcs number 2. Number 3 is probably gonna be Grey Knights, and number 4 is the one that I'm really up in the air on.
I think Eldar's up there still.
still thinking. I mean, you're looking at. I mean, if you go from the stats right now, you know what I mean. If we look at like what was out there, excuse me, in the last, like the last month that we looked at, we still had, you know, the 12-week win percentage still had Kron's way up there. We still had Sisters way up there. We've had Custodes has been winning at a good clip, and the thing is that Black Templars, I feel, plays against all this shit still really well. They had a bad weekend this weekend, but that army's got to be in the top, at least the top 5-ish, because it has all of the ability with, you know, with his brethren. They bring the aggressor bomb. You know what I mean? It can deal with vehicles as well as horde. You know what I mean? Is it the best at doing either? Nope. But can it do both very well? Yep. Exactly. World leaders just got better because reasons. Yeah. I think that I'm going to say, and I don't know the order, but I'm going to put Black Templars in my top 5. I'm going to say Black Templars, Necrons, and then I think Tau's going to be there for sure. And I don't know if Orcs, I think Orcs are going to be in the top 5 or 6. I'm hoping that they're in the top 4, but I think that people are going to be running their everything. So I don't know if they're going to be at the top. You know what I mean? Because everybody's going to be excited because you haven't been be able to run Speed Freaks in forever. Everybody's, you know, if you want to run a Squig Army, you're going to run that. You know, people are going to be testing shit out. So I think that in 12 weeks, I think that Orcs are going to be more refined than, I'll say 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks, Orcs are going to be more refined than they are in 4 weeks. So, but I do think that Tau's going to be there. I think that Necrons are going to continue to win. I think the Black Templars are going to continue to win. But
is there a points adjustment coming out soon?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I can't. You can only guess on that. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about what I know now. And I can only go off what I've seen. You know what I mean?
Do you think Necrons would suffer win-wise if Satan and Wraiths go up in points?
Say it one more time.
Do you think Necrons would suffer win-wise if Satan and Wraiths go up in points?
Yes.
I feel like that entire army is held together by those 2 units being so cheap.
I don't think Wraiths are going to go up in points. I think Satans will, though.
Yeah, if Catans go up a lot, it'll hurt Hypercrypt a lot more than it'll hurt Court. Because Court's just trying to play the grindy mission game, and I think that Hypercrypt is trying to kill you more and use power more with Catan. So I think that they would be hurt by a lot more. So I agree with David on this. He goes, I'm worried about the points adjustments. I feel like cooling of points to address Black Templar Ironstorm lists will create collateral damage as Righteous Crusaders. I think it'll crush Righteous Crusaders, to be honest with you. They've historically done a bad job when they do nerfs on that because they get collateral damage a lot. GW drops a lot of bombs that hit the next door all the time. I mean, shit, look at 8th/9th edition Sisters when they just kept getting smashed by nothing they did, but the detachment rules and things of that nature and different things for Imperium. They've hit a lot of those things. I mean, all of the detachments that aren't doing well for Marines are just going to get smoked by any of the nerfs they put on them. So It's going to be tough. I mean, I don't have an answer for you on that. I think that they should relook at some of the detachments and give certain detachments buffs and give certain detachments nerfs. But as we said, I threw GW under the bus all the time, but like I have to give them props on the fact that there's a shit ton of working parts when you're looking at that many detachments with that many factions, and you have to balance them with all the factions that are coming out. You know what I mean? That's why you never want your book early. You want to you want to make an early run and then go, whew, kind of wish I was.
I mean, Marines felt bad from the get-go. Like, I haven't played Marines since the
No,
Codex
they have
came out.
not felt bad. They were crushing
felt
shit.
bad.
You thought they
felt
were
bad.
boring. They were winning shit. They still
Yeah.
are winning shit tons of events.
Yeah, they're still boring.
Being
not
boring
disagree.
and being bad are two different things. God damn it. You're like, this army's terrible. It won
It is.
11 GTs this week. Yeah,
Awful.
it's still
The
bad.
worst. The worst.
Fucking...
So so looking forward to this stuff where we're talking a little bit, just a quick shot about what are you hoping gets the biggest adjustment up, right? Because we always know they adjust some stuff down, but they always try to adjust some stuff up. What are you hoping they adjust up?
They should take all the nerfs away from Imperial Knights. Everything that the nerfs should go away.
No.
Why?
Not
towering. Not
That is a nerf.
No, no. The nerfs for just knights. Towering is a stupid rule. It's gone. I'm talking about the points and the rules that they've done that are exactly Imperial Knight wise.
I don't think they need full rerolls of ones when they're hitting on 2+. That's a bit much. Auto hitting with the big boys a lot.
I mean, some of our poorly performing armies are poorly performing because I think that people are playing something that plays like them, and they don't have a vested interest in them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because there's not that. We're in a pretty good spot in the meta. There's not that many at the bottom. Tell me who really needs help.
I think Deathwatch just generically needs some help.
Yes, the Black Spirit.
I think for them, a lot of it's points.
I think well, for Deathwatch, I think the issue is that they were mainly built to be a flexible firstborn Marine army, and now they're trying to shove all these Primaris units, which just aren't as good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The kill teams probably need to be cheaper. AdMech does have. AdMech is a super playable army if you play Horde. If you don't play Horde, I don't know if it's very good. Or it's very specific. So I could see that. But like most of this other thing, I still think that Unending Swarm is just good.
Unending Swarm's good in teams. It's tough to play in singles because you have some very bad matchups.
True, because you have damage problems in some of them. But like, I think the Chaos with the buffs feel really good. They're running at 50% for 12 weeks. Chaos Knights still feel really good. AdMech needs some tinkering. AdMech needs more tinkering than I know what to do with, to be honest with you.
They need a new detachment.
Yes, I mean, I think they need attachment fixes. That's what I'm saying. But I don't think you just fix them with points, because I think they could become oppressive if you took their points super low down and they just flood the board with a million more models.
I mean, I keep seeing Tyranid monsters need to be cut. Some of their monsters need to be cut in points. Absolutely. There are some of them that are completely useless.
100%. I mean, to be honest with you, to be fair, with that, I think that you're 1,000 point right, because when we were talking about Tyranids, even like a week or so ago, we were talking about lists, and a lot of their big monsters don't even exist to me because of their point costs. So that is 100% true.
A Tragon, what his point cost is at 105 points might be worth taking.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's just one of those. There's some stuff that's so overpriced that you know what I mean. It doesn't. I glaze over when I look at them. I don't even. Yeah, so 100% on that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in there that could be cheaper.
Yeah, but they're only going to really fix the points. Yeah. Like, they're not going to fix the data sheets. They just need to go through and adjust data sheets
for Tyranids. In all honesty, if they were pointed correctly, or most of them are pretty good. it's just the points, are tough, because if you don't like and subscribe to the right point total, it's always a problem.
I think Sanguinary Guard need a points adjustment.
Agreed.
I have no idea. I have no idea. They're like 35 points a model. I have no idea why they're 35 points a model.
Because they
What's the right total on that?
Low. Those jump pack units just need to be way cheaper. I think across the board, to be perfectly honest. I think GW just was used to them doing so much more damage, and combat was easier to get into and stay into in previous editions. So I think they over costed them. Like and subscribe to the channel, please. It helps us out a ton. Throw a comment in and tell us how wrong we were.
Yeah. And it's tough because, I look at a lot of armies, and I was trying to come up with something because I was feeling like playing something new. So I was tinkering with armies, and every time I got done, I was just like, oh, this is the same army that, it's just a different detachment. It's kind of the same feel. Like, I tried building Marine armies. They all kind of ended up being 1 or 2 detachments. I tried building a couple different Tyranid armies, and hey, guess what? They have 2 builds that I think are viable in singles right now. I think Vanguard and Unending Swarm, if you're willing to go that you're not going to win the GT, is good. There's an oddball chance that pairings fall your way, but probably not. And like, I was playing with Necrons, and I really just don't want to play Canaptic Court, and every other detachment just doesn't scratch an itch for me. So it was tough. I mean, I'm looking forward to there being more stuff. I'm really looking forward to the Orc book, because that'll allow me to play those Beast Snaggers that I really want to play.
Yes. And Squeak Riders. Anything with Beast Snag in their title. And the thing on that is a couple. So to recap the original question on that, what in the bottom needs up? AdMech needs a better detachment and some more damage. Knights need some of their nerfs rolled back. Some things just have to wait until they get a Codex, a la Votan and stuff like that. I think Votan are fine, except for they just need more units. So we'll see what that comes out. Tyranids need big monster point decreases. And besides that, I think that most of these things are going to play. You're going to have to adjust your list. Everybody's going to bitch about Tau and Orks when they first come out, especially with these armies that have a shit ton of models in them. And you're just going to have to adjust, to be perfectly honest. You're going to have to make changes to your current list, whether you want to or not. Because you're going to have to deal with different styles coming at you. So you're going to have to adapt and figure out exactly what the most efficient things in your army are. Can't talk about the Orc. Basically, I can't talk about leaks because I don't feel like having GW choke me out.
I want to see James Workshop just bust into your house, fix your internet connection, so it streams correctly while he's choking you out.
He's like, I got a few fixes to make for you, Brad. But
let me help you out. And somehow by him choking you out fixes your posture. You don't have any more back pain.
Oh man, sign me up for get choked by anybody if you fix my internet and my back pain.
So we only have to know the roadmap of what's going on right now. Any speculation of we all kind of seen what the potential hidden codex is, but after Chaos Space Marines and the hidden codex that's been leaked online,
well, there's sisters.
What's everyone's hopes for those next few things? For basically what we're looking at is the summer and fall.
I think CSM is going to be bonkersville. If CSM hits like Tau and like what we've seen so far for Orcs, that is going to be a bonkers book because it's got multiple legions it has to deal with, which is obviously more detachments. I think that thing's going to be a powerhouse. I think that
it could be like Space Marines though, where half the detachments are pointless.
Possibly. It's again one of those things where you have so much going on that some are going to be winners, some are going to be losers, man.
Well, they said 8 detachments. If they hit with half of them, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I would be ecstatic, to be perfectly honest. If they had 4 really good detachments, cool. That's just a lot, man. You know what I mean?
So when is the next GW event? Because Adepticon was kind of all focused on Age of Sigmar.
You've got the GW, all the GW events coming up. You got Dallas and.
So, but when is the next one?
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. I mean, you got June. Is it June or July? So you have the bunch. You're going to get into the full.
It might be July. I don't know.
July. Well, you're going to get into a lot of super majors back to back to back to back. So we will be seeing a huge amount of data right away for all the new stuff. So they can make educated decisions on stuff. Because, like, yes, Necrons probably can mean touching, but like if you nerf Necrons right out of the gate, you would have put horrible nerfs on them. And I think that they definitely were not needed.
Dallas is May 16th through 19th. Tacoma is July 19th through 21st.
So we could hear more about what's being released this summer as early as May.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we'll hear more about Sisters. I think we'll hear more about whatever that secret codex is. But that's summer right there, if you look at it, because Age of Sigmar is going to have such a big, heavy release in June.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they're dumping a huge, but they're dumping their 4th edition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a edition launch.
They are getting their first thing. They're getting their first bad touch for Age of Sigmar, where they are getting, an 8th edition style thing, where they completely overhaul the whole game, and 10th edition, where they go and everything's blown up. Every battle tome for them will be done, and here's a whole bunch of new data slates, very much like what they did in 10th.
I just can't believe how many models they killed.
So I know that it sounds like they're killing models, but number one, it's a huge range for them. And those models aren't getting legend for 15 months.
Well, why would you buy it?
Because they also have bonkersville good looking models too, though. AOS's line is so much cooler than our line. I'm sorry, they just are.
We are getting better models. Things have been, as new things have come out, they've been getting much better. But yes, AOS on a whole, those new Skaven models that have dropped are absolutely gorgeous.
Have you seen the new group models yet, Brian? Like, have you built some? I think they're absolutely.
One of the guys was building them at the store the other day. They're absolutely gorgeous models. So well done, so highly detailed. I'm a big fan.
I'm hoping that we get more and more. What I really want is, and it's not like we've done a bad job about it, but man, the AOS big sculpts are so detailed. There's so much shit going on any of those.
Well, the only thing they got big sculpts so far for this edition was Tyranids, right? I mean, they got the Norn. That was their big sculpt, and that's really the only.
But the problem is they just don't have a lot going on with those. You know what I mean? It just feels like he got like just ridges of tons of stuff. So like, yeah. I mean, you put that next to Archeon. Come on, man. Really?
Next to some of the dragons for Stormcast, which are just bonkers, amazingly great models.
I mean, there's just,
and let alone the Cities of Sigmar stuff. Their rank and files is just pretty.
That was somebody that did that, though. The Tau with the cherry blossom tree. Who was that? He was No. I'm saying he did it at Michigan. He was at Michigan GT.
Yeah.
His army was.
He was also at Du Bois one year.
Du Bois, yeah. His army is like fantastic with the display. Looked amazing. And the thing is everybody going for that kind of stuff. Man, I envy all you painter stuff because I remember very few of my games. I remember heavily converted and beautiful armies for forever. You know what I mean? Like hell, I still remember 2001 Baltimore GT when a guy had his entire army converted over to be the USPS, the Postal Service. It was dwarves, and he had everybody converted over. I mean, that's 20 some years ago. I remember that. So there's so many. Go ahead.
So we did get a Lancer, the Lancer Knight.
The Lancer was definitely a heresy model. It was not put out for 40K.
But you can still use it.
You can still use it, yes. But I mean, in comparison to the Forge World Lancer, it was a huge upgrade. We'll put it that way.
Those new assault marines.
All of the goodness. All right.
They were
promo your stuff, guys, and then we're gonna mosey on to that dusty trail.
TheSaltCityGT.com. Sign up today. We may be adding another event momentarily for some Heresy players, so I'll let you guys know about that next week.
And when is that event, Brian?
That is August 9th, 10th, and 11th in Syracuse, New York.
Boom shakalaka.
And if you want to hear more about the saltiness of Space Marines, you can check out Still Frosty Gaming on YouTube.
For a positive
Facebook,
spin on everything,
Instagram.
everyone.
There's certain things I'm passionate about. Like, I'm super excited about orcs, but if we talk about Outriders, it's bad news.
40K Lorecast, 40KLodgecast.com. Check out the Discord. And until then, Queenswave, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.